Hey, after 8 years, I've got Chris Brisson back on and to talk about sales message. I just had him on the sales podcast. Caught up with him, episode 713. But 8 years ago, May, it was funny. So we did this on May 1st, 2025. It was May 2nd, 2017. Had him on, and sales message was brand new. So we got into the history and where things are today, where they're heading. So this is a little bit different for the CRM Sushi podcast. I usually have founders demo their software, but he offers a demo anyway. And so we got into the use cases, right? I'll link to my process before login. And I've had that for many, many years, 12 years. I don't know, going back to maybe as early as 2010, certainly by when I had my office, which was a short time. I got a picture of us doing this with a client around 2013. So it's been a minute, and I call it process before login. And the concept there is you need to document your processes, your current processes and your ideal processes before you log in. It's like making a grocery list before you go to the grocery store, right? And don't go to the store when you're hungry because you buy crap. But anyway, I want you thinking through the scenarios. How could you use this software? And I asked him straight up, because I've got HubSpot, I've got Keep, I've got clients that use Go High Level. We can send messages, SMS from those platforms. So what is the benefit of having a third-party tool? I like his answer. And so I want you to listen to it and ponder this and think through how, what are your use cases? How can this work for you? And because the software, the GUI, I really don't care. And you shouldn't either. And we had fully intended to do a demo, but we just got into things and had a good long talk about the pros and cons of different tools and what he does. We had some technical issues with his internet. So you may see a glitch here and there. Had a tough time. He had to just tell his gardener, stop. His microphone was picking up the blower. But regardless, smart guy, been in this space going back to before 2016. He had and still has another company we talk about. So this was a spinoff of that. So he's been in this lane for a while. And so you're in for a treat. Okay. If you need help picking out tools, check out crmquiz.com. It's my free tool for helping you determine, which one might be best for you. And there's a link from there to my calendar, and we can talk through your scenario and we'll figure out what's the best path for you. Okay. So thanks for tuning in. Let's bring on Chris Brisson. After 8 years, returns to show us sales message. Welcome back to the CRM Sushi Podcast.
Yeah, I'm good. Look, I've got a couple gray hairs.
I know, dude. Welcome. Look at that, dude. I got him here. Yeah. So we caught up last week, had you on episode 713 of the sales podcast, and realized your software probably changed a little bit in 8 years. And so we figured we'd take a look at it, right? So it was ironic. So we're doing this May 1st, 2025, and you were on first time. If I can find all my tabs, it was May 2nd of 2017.
My gosh.
And you said you hadn't even launched, or maybe you were launching right around then?
Yeah. I did a webinar in October of 2016 to pre-sell the idea of sales message. So it was just an idea in October, and then we really broke ground, I want to say December, right? November. We started building it. So we didn't have a product, I think, when we spoke. I don't know. But 2017 was the early days, man.
So the title back then, we called it Gmail for SMS.
Okay.
Or how sales message is Gmail for SMS.
Yeah.
So what the heck does that even mean?
Well, I think the idea was the same way that you send emails over Gmail is you can do that now for text messaging. So kind of like an inbox, right? Which actually, the idea sort of stands still true because, more and more people today are getting texts. And so how are you managing those text messages the same as email, right? So in Gmail, you're managing it through Gmail and having all the tools and filters
all these
and
junk
inboxes.
Texts, they're all your fault? I just forward them to you?
A part of the system, my friend. No, it's come a long way, right? So this is 2017. I've been in the messaging business for a long time. So most people were just using it as a sort of one-way tool, right? Hey, I'm going to send mass text messages, this one-way notification. There was no two-way SMS platform out there. Maybe there was. I mean, there's early signs of that. And so sales message, the idea was, hey, this is the platform for a conversational two-way texting. So you have an inbox, right? You have your messages that come in, and you can manage those responses the same way as if you would do it with Gmail. So
Right.
there you go.
So I recently learned, like, some of these platforms, I was working with a client that has Go High Level, and they were sending from there. But these messaging platforms, like when you go to an iPhone, they don't show up as blue. So is there a way around that, or is that just the nature of the beast?
Yeah. So Blue Messages is iMessages, which is
Yep.
owned by Apple, right?
Right.
So that's why Android's always been green, is because, well, Apple is like, no, we own iMessages. We want to control that mind share for a
Right.
customer, right? So when you
Right.
get a blue text, you know, hey, that's Apple. So for the longest time, right, Google has been trying to unify the messaging, right? You ever get into a text group, and that person in the text group with the green text,
There's
you can't
that
send
one.
a picture. There's that one, right? So Apple knows that, right? So they held on to that mode for a really long time. So it's called RCS, right? So rich communication, whatever. And so the idea with that is like, hey, look, you can't really send, the same rich text as you would on iMessages versus on Android. And so RCS is sort of this unification. So if you updated your phone in the last couple of months, now when someone types, you could see it on Android, right? You can see it on your iPhone, right? When someone sends an image, now the image actually comes out as not this little tiny little thing. It comes
So
out as
Apple had to change something. So it's Rich Communication Services, so RCS.
Yep.
So it's designed to replace SMS and MMS with a more modern, engaging messaging experience. So is that a protocol? I mean, does Apple own that? Did they invent it? Like, I don't understand what they released. I had to let go of. I don't know that.
Yeah. So Apple, right? So iMessages is their own sort of messaging entity, right? So
And
it's like WhatsApp.
encrypted, right? Yeah,
Yep.
but it's their own
Yep.
encryption, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
But why? But is it a different protocol? Like, I remember
It
back
is.
in the day, like Sprint was what, CDMA, and others were, I don't even know, the GSM or I forget. But like,
Getting nerdy now.
man, I sold test equipment in that space for years. I sold millions. Google was a client. I mean, I was deep in that stuff for years.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I'm forgetting it because I've been out for over a decade, so it's good. I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
Well over a decade. So is it like that? They're just different messaging, and then they just kind of all rose up to the
So
whatever
Google's been
next
trying to
LTE and above. So now everything's kind of unified. Is it that kind of similar?
pretty much. Yeah. Now Apple sort of their last release, whatever it was in October, said, yeah, we're going to have, they didn't call it RCS. They just called it better messaging, right? So anyhow, what that means to businesses, right? So our RCS is a separate protocol. So you know how on like trying to think of on like Facebook, you could do those little chips. So like, hey, click yes, or, click this. So RCS is a richer experience. So it hasn't really taken hold, right? From this, rather than typing yes to clicking or tapping yes. That's what RCS is. It's a whole separate thing. But really what the blue messages, you're seeing it on Go High Level. I get those ads too. They're basically just using iMessage's protocol. So iMessages has an API, Apple has an API that enables businesses that are approved, right? Not everybody can get it. And so you have to be approved to use iMessages, right? So you got to go through Apple's approval process. They don't just allow everybody to go through.
Okay, so not everybody. Okay, so some mass senders, SMS platforms, can deliver with the blue field.
Yep. So like we're going to be doing it, right? Which will enable businesses to use iMessage. Now they have to go through the process of getting approved by Apple, right? And you got to go through that process to get approved by Apple to then send blue messages, which go through iMessage. So needless to say, the fun parts of messaging. But soon you'll be able to send blue messages across sales message.
So I mean, we're going to look under the hood here in a little bit, but if somebody has Go High Level, you have Keep, right? You can text from within Keep. You can text from more and more platforms. I mean, are rolling it out. You can do it with HubSpot. Why does someone need another tool if their main tool has that capability?
Yeah. So HubSpot, for example, right? So HubSpot does SMS, but if you're like, we work well with larger growing companies. And so traditionally, HubSpot releases products. They serve like an audience for a given use case. Like HubSpot has HubSpot quotes. I don't use it. We don't use it. We use PandaDoc. Why? It's got better functionality. And so, for the businesses that are looking for, a more sophisticated messaging platform with like AI and AI agents and lead qualification and two-way texting and shared inboxes and, team management and all sorts of more enriched experience versus, oh yeah, I get outbound a text, right? So if you're just looking to outbound a text, sure. You can use the off the shelf one. I know Go High Level, builds most of their stuff and they've got a great product, and so, they built a lot of that tech inside of their platform. We actually did build an integration, funny enough, for Call Loop to be into Go High Level. And so learned a lot in that experience, and we'll integrate sales message and Go High Level too. They offer a lot of different unique ways that we could integrate into it, but there's an ecosystem already. And so, some marketplaces will win and some marketplaces, it doesn't make sense for us to continue building. But like Keep, for example, like we built that integration years and years ago. And just that audience is not the audience that we serve well. You can use Keep's texting, you can use our texting, but we work best with like a Salesforce, HubSpot. Not to say anybody can't use our platform, but
Right. But bigger teams,
yeah.
longer sales cycle, is it more
I mean, we serve both B2B, B2C. So we work with franchises, we work with Tony Robbins and his team. We work with all types of different businesses, recruiting companies, logistics, high volume, low volume, right? B2B companies that aren't integrating SMS into their own sales cycle. Like we use sales message, right? Because we do calling and we do texting. And so part of that whole journey, we use texting. New lead comes in, we text them, we engage with them. A meeting is booked, we remind them, right? We engage with them, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody, HubSpot, I use their meeting links, and I've used Calendly in the past. Calendly has some SMS, they have email reminders. HubSpot has email reminders. I don't think they have SMS reminders. So like if I'm using their calendar, would I just turn off those reminders and just then kick it off to you to run the drip sequence?
Yeah. So like Calendly has SMS reminders, but one, that's a number they share with all their customers, right? So it's happened before. I booked something. I'm like, I booked a meeting with another company 4 months ago, right? So that's a shared number. You don't really own the number, and it's just a reminder. So if someone replies back to the text, you don't have it. So what we say is, hey,
Gotcha.
own that relationship. So
Right.
fill out a form, whether it's HubSpot form or meetings form or Calendly, then send a text message, and you can build it into sales message as a campaign or workflow, or build it into HubSpot, Zapier, however you want to automate that.
Right. So is one of the benefits then it's two-way, right? Because like you said, if I reply to that Calendly, I won't get anything. But it's also, I'm working with a local company. They've got 4 sales reps and trying to put systems in place. They're sporadically using Go High Level. So, and all the salespeople are contractors. So they're on their own. They bring in their own laptop. They bring in their own cell phones. And so they're having conversations on their own. So the company has no insight into what the heck's going on. So, is sales message, would it be like in that case, would they enter the lead into Go High Level, or is there like a CRM component to sales message? Could they put a new contact into the sales message and then start corresponding there, over mobile? And then does the history get pushed into Go High Level or HubSpot so managers can see and coach and know the history of the dialogue with the prospect?
Damn it.
First, we've got lawnmower blower guy, now the interwebs. Is the world, are they conspiring against it? Is this the Matrix? Is this Elon trying to shut us down?
this is what happened in Portugal and Spain. It's happening here.
Yeah, I've only seen a little bit of that. That like the whole grid, did it go down or like it almost went down?
I do not know.
Yeah.
I do not know.
So anyway, yeah, I was giving that use case, right, of individual reps, because it's hard to consolidate, to develop processes, consolidate them, keep your finger on things because everybody's moving fast. Like I'm helping my son right now. We're selling this huge 9 by 12 inch postcard advertise. He's in real estate, so I've been helping him. Like we had a printed newsletter and we sold ads, and so that paid for his marketing. Right, he went door to door, passed them out. Now we're doing postcards. We're selling ads. So now he's reaching 10,000, 20,000 homes each month for free. And we're actually making money doing it. But as I develop, I'm like on the fly, I'm making products, pricing, pipeline with stages. I'm creating lists, and there's multiple lists. Somebody is a postcard prospect. Well, now then they're going to be a postcard customer. And then I got to create pricing for one time versus repeat pricing for, creating units. So, 1 unit is 10,000, 2 units is 20,000. But then there's other things where I got to create because then we're going to be in surrounding cities. So do I make different interest subsets for there? And if you've never done it, like it's daunting, right? And then I'm including bonuses. We're hosting a dinner each month for the advertisers. I'm letting them participate in the inner circle. So now I've got to kick off the inner circle sequence, but not too soon because I don't want to confuse them. So, there's a lot. So I can see, a business owner saying, just make calls. Just reach out to people. Here's a list. Reach out to them. Oh, hey, boss. Yeah, I know you're paying hundreds or thousands for this CRM. Oh, now we need another $100, $200, $300 SMS package. Oh, hell with that. Everybody is swamped with tech that they're not using or certainly underusing.
Yeah, I would say it's more the latter, right? Like the underusing of it. And so, SMS is simply the way to engage, right? So everything that you're mentioning from a sales process, right? So I'll give you a good example. So new lead comes in, you've got, let's say, reps, right? You want to round robin that lead to the rep. And well, how do you automate SMS as coming from that individual? So one of the things that we have is sort of send as contact owner. So as owner, right? So, hey, send that
round robin, make the owner, give it half a second.
Yep.
Yeah. Merge fields, blah, blah, blah. Text goes out. Oh, here's a task. Check on new lead.
Yep. You got it. So, being able to automate that, right? Your question earlier was like, how do you do that and go high level? So like sales message doesn't have a go high level integration, right? Our other company, Call Loop does. It's quite good. But somebody comes into an automation, right? They fill out a workflow, missed call automation, whatever it is. Go into that workflow, and then you can start to if then and automate those texts. So create a contact, send a text message, MMS. You could do a voice memo, right? You can essentially send out this rich text message, right? If we go back to sort of the RCS idea. So sales message does, text messaging. It does MMS, right? MMS is media. So a GIF, image, PDF, audio, video. So you can do all the different media types in sales message. So,
Art, what are you seeing for opt-in rates? Because back in the day, you just got their email. People would not give you their cell phone. Are people more comfortable giving their cell phones? Do they even prefer to give their cell phone? Because I always tell people that the more info you ask on a form, the fewer the people that are going to do it, but the higher quality the leads of those that do. So do you do like a 2-step? Because I do that a lot. Say first name, email, boom. Now I take them to a thank you page. Maybe give them a little bonus, say, let's get your last name, cell phone, and, company name or whatever. So at least I've got their email and can drip on them. So, like, what are you seeing for a best practice to get their mobile?
Yeah, right, like any marketer is going to say, well, the more information you ask, the less the conversion rate. We ran a split test the other day, and the idea was, hey, if we were to collect Gmail and free email addresses versus company addresses, what is going to convert better? Now, obvious answer is the test was, hey, which one's going to convert better? So as it turns out, well, free emails did. But when you actually looked at, hey, did that actually turn into customers? The answer was no.
Yeah.
So that's
I've
really
turned off free.
Right? Same.
Yeah.
And so that's really the end goal of what we're looking at. So is a lead that is going to give you just an email going to convert into a customer better than a lead that gives you an email and a phone number? And so that's the optimization. So, and that's really the test. So in our experience, again, what are you doing with that phone number? Because if someone gives you an email, that's your only mechanism for communication. So that's you're only going to be able to email them. However, if you open up the second channel, which would be a phone, you can call, you can text, right? And to move that conversation a lot faster. So I don't have any direct data to share with you, but in our experience, right, and what we have seen is companies that are using text message as a way to engage, they're seeing a 40, 50% response rate from those texts. So the response rate from email is not that. The response rate from text message is that. So if you want to engage, right, if the goal is an engagement to get a conversation going, a phone is really going to do that, right? And so you can split test that. So, hey, if you just want to get email as a lead, great. Maybe on the second step, you go, hey, we'll text you that PDF. What's your text, what's your phone number? So, provide some sort of opportunity or reason why. I think we talked about this last time, but like, what's the reason why to give you their cell phone? And what are they going to get in exchange? Are they going to get a whole bunch of spam texts and calls? Or are they going to get some sort of, free report or, some sort of other mechanism or benefit to give the phone? So, I mean, that's what we've seen is people just, they preferred SMS versus a, sort of an interruptive phone call. Not that calls are bad, it's just, it's interruptive. And, the stats towards that are not as pleasant as just a passive sort of response to a text.
Right. Do you have any experience with calls? Like any of your customers? Like, let's text 3 times and call on day 4 or something. Are people having success with that or even calling sooner?
Yep. So, this gets to this whole idea of speed to lead. So new lead comes in, right? Delay for 30 seconds, a minute, whatever it is, but get that immediate text message out. That's automated, right? Typically, if you want to get an engagement, ask a question. People are going to respond to a question versus a statement, right? And so at least you can get that initial text out. And then, if you have calling, right? We do calling as well. One of the cool features that we have is it's launching soon, which is this whole idea of speed to lead. So how about if you were to just automate, a new lead comes in, hey, it pops up on your sales rep's website and all they have to do is call. And then, so now you get into this, how do you engage within the first 15 minutes, right? We all know that those leads will rot over time. And so, well, how do you proactively doing it versus waiting for the rep to do it? And which we all know, I mean, they're going to lean into allowing that time to delay. That is obviously reaching out to people as fast as possible. But the truth is most people aren't calling immediately right after a new lead comes in. So right. How do you automate?
People are
everything?
afraid of the phone. The younger generation, they're terrified of the phone.
That's crazy.
Well, I'm working on a book called Please Date My Daughters. I've got 5 daughters. I've got a junior. She's 17. She just went to prom with a bunch of other girls. No dates, and these girls, they're beautiful. They're athletes, I'm like, why are y'all single? Boys have no game. And I think the gaming generation, the iPhone, iPad generation, COVID, locking everybody up. I mean, everything, all that combined, the iPhone, I was watching the first Daniel Craig, James Bond last night, Casino Royale, right? So it came out in 2006. I mean, so they're filming it live. The iPhone didn't come out till 2007. But the iPhone is 18 years old, so we take this stuff for granted.
Same age as your kids.
Yeah. I mean, I got kids 28, 11. And so they grew up with iPhones, but they grew up gaming, stay at home, throw your headset on, immerse yourself into this world and whoa, oh, you're a real person. What do I do? Like
Mm-hmm.
they literally, now I have to talk to some, no, no, no. It's rough, man. I mean,
Yep.
companies, I'm
Yep.
telling them, you better standardize some stuff, your communication, and you
Mm-hmm.
better train the hell out of these people because you got to ramp them up. There's no interpersonal skills. It's insane,
Well,
but
yep.
it's reality.
Yeah. Yeah. My kids are 9 and 11, so I've got a little bit of time, but
Have them set up some ice cream or lemonade stands.
oh, yeah,
Have them
doing a
talk to
lot.
people, man. Give them some flyers. Say go door to door. Go. You can't come home till you sell a new sales message account.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. They've been selling coconuts and
There you go.
they've been pretty successful with it. It's been pretty
Where are
cool.
you getting coconuts?
In our backyard, right back here, we got some
Oh, that's
coconut
cool.
trees. Yeah.
Oh, that's badass.
Tropical
All right.
Florida, man.
Yeah, well, I've got a lemon tree. I got a Meyer lemon tree. That thing, we get hundreds of lemons. And then I got a pomegranate. I got a peach. And those have been spotty. We had like a lot of rain a couple years ago, so a couple of mediocre seasons. So fingers crossed for
Yeah.
this year. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
get them engaging with people.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's be specific, right? Somebody's got HubSpot. They can be whatever. HubSpot, Keep, Go High Level, whatever. You got your CRM. You've got your web form. So it's on the website. Like, what are you seeing? Like, where do people start? Is it a generic contact us? Is it, hey, schedule a free demo? Speak with an agent? Is it, opt in here, get my guide? 7 deadly sins of text messaging. Like, what's a good way to start? And again, we're assuming B2B. Like, I'm on my favorite Mexican food. I get their text every day. I'm like, bring it on. Hey, tacos,
Mm-hmm.
we're hitting it.
Yeah.
But I'm not on a lot of B2B texting,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
So the
walk us through
way
that scenario.
Yeah, so we have a framework. It's called Textize Your Business, right? And the idea with this is, every business has the same life cycle. I know we talked about it before, but Infusionsoft had the perfect customer life cycle. So we have Textize Your Business sort of life cycle. And so there's 4 parts. So you have like capture, connect, convert, and care. And so the thing to realize with messaging is it's
Should have a
just a
little
time.
heart, the care.
Yeah, we should. Actually, I think we do actually. And so, the idea with this is, all right, well, where in my business, right? Because every business needs to capture leads, connect with them, convert them, and care for them, right? So where in your business can you quote unquote textize it or add texting? So great example. Hey, go to your website, run an audit and say, hey, do any of my web forms, am I capturing a phone number? So I have a contact form, I'm capturing a phone number. Am I doing anything with that? No? Okay. Well, let's do something with that. So rather than just get an email notification, put them into a workflow, well, let's text them and then start that conversation. Hey, thanks for filling out contact form. Hey, are you mostly interested in, residential or commercial real estate or whatever it is, right? To just sort of grease the sheets. Hey, thanks for
Well,
filling
but
that out, right?
what are you seeing though, like yourself, if you have access to this for your clients? Let's say I'm selling marketing. Let's say I'm selling, cybersecurity. I mean, what does a decision maker at a good sized company, like, what do they fill out? Is it a contact us? Is it a demo? Are they downloading
All
white
the above.
papers and case
Yeah.
studies?
Yeah. All
And
the
do they
above.
want it?
Yeah.
Do they want it as an SMS? Like, if I go to somebody's site and go, "Oh, give us your cell phone and you get this guide," I'm like, I'd rather use my hidden email address. But then, all right, you take that away from me. I mean, I guess I could text and always block it later if they're abusive. But I mean, are people just opening up more to cell phone? Like, yeah, here's my cell phone.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we protected it with our lives 10 years ago, even maybe before COVID. Even I think COVID, like, things kind of pivoted.
Yep. Yep.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Or is that accurate?
I mean, most of the B2B websites, right? Like if you go fill out any demo request form, right? They're going to ask you for a phone number. So if you're, a case study form, right? Maybe you just want an email address, right? If your blog subscribe is just an email address, right? So it needs to match sort of the outcome or the expectation. So if you're going to go through a demo, I want your phone number because I want to call you. I want to, it's a different quality lead. So for us, and what we see a lot too is any of these sort of higher level B2B, you have a web form, you have a demo request form, you're already asking for it, right? So again, for any business that's listening, hey, where are you already asking for the phone number? You already have that asset, but what are you doing with that asset? Well, now you can actually do something with the asset. Use it as a text message channel, right, to engage with people, because the whole idea is engagement, right? A new lead comes in, right? You call, they don't pick up, and now you're sort of playing phone tag and doing this whole thing. So what we say is just, hey, if you're already collecting it, well, now you can use it in your business as a way to engage with those leads and customers. So a checkout form, you're already asking for a phone number. What are you doing with it?
Right.
Well, why not turn it into an asset in your business? And most people aren't. So they have it, they've collected it because that's what you do, but they haven't really activated it as a way to engage and drive revenue.
So let's say I've got my form and it's a case study or whatever, and first name, email, cell phone. It goes into my HubSpot. Do I then hand it off to sales message and let sales message start the drip sequence of texting? And is that populated in my activities column? And I guess there's an API or a native integration, like if somebody that can trigger the next steps of my workflow.
Yeah, totally. So we obviously integrate to HubSpot, a lot of these other tools. So with HubSpot, you just have that trigger, which is a web form, right? And then you set a delay, like a minute or whatever. And then you just say, send sales message, text message, type it in, what the text is, what's the outbound number, right? What phone number it's going to go to. And it's as simple as just setting it up, right? Like and it's all built into HubSpot. Now, we do have campaigns, we have workflows, but if you use HubSpot, cool. You can use HubSpot to do that, to cut out.
All right, we're going to get through this. I'll leave it in or edit. I don't know. I'll go back and listen. But so walk me through that again. So they opt in, and then is it a native integration with HubSpot and the other big guys?
Yeah, HubSpot, Salesforce, Pipedrive, right? Yeah, all the major platforms.
And do you have like playbooks or templates that it'll jumpstart their interaction?
Yeah, we've got a bunch of campaigns. We've got templates. We've got like AI agents you can set up. So like an AI booking agent. So we've got a lot of these sort of pre-built systems inside the platform.
And do you have any results, studies on, because I've always said multimedia, multi-step. You've got your 4 C's. I've got my cycle of life, and it's ABCDE, right? So you attract, you bond with them, right? Multimedia, multi-step, phone call, email, text, social media, direct mail, whatever, however you can reach them, convert them to a customer, right? Then you deliver, you delight, then you endear yourself to them. Now they like you. Now they're back to the attraction phase. They buy again. They give you referrals and testimonials, and the attraction, it gets faster and faster and faster. So do you have experience with multimedia? Text them, boom. All right, email, and is it going to bounce back and forth? So you'll send the text, but then it goes back to HubSpot. Hey, send an email, back and forth, and then there's triggers off of that based on action or inaction.
Yeah, I mean, the same from like go high level, right? So like send an email, send a text, wait 5 minutes, wait a day. It's just the same sort of setup. So we're the ones that deliver the text message, right? So if you then need to manage the conversations and, have all the information in sales message, like it's all there. Yeah.
And something like HubSpot, are they not two-way conversations? And that's why they would go integrate with you instead of just using the native SMS?
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, HubSpot has texting, but again, it's very light. It's just one-way text. Okay. So ours is a more robust platform to manage at scale.
Right. Yeah. Because you need that history, for coaching, make sure you're not over-promising something or whatever, because salespeople they want to keep all their data. So companies have to be smart enough, either bludgeon their people or whatever, or just don't give them a choice. I mean, they can, of course, always do whatever they want on their own phones. But if things are starting from their own business line, then at least you've got that history. So I've got my phone. I got a HubSpot app. Do I also have a sales message app? Like if I'm mobile, how am I receiving the communications? If I'm out and about, how am I getting these and how am I sending them?
Yeah, we have a mobile app, right? So a mobile app, we've got a web app as well. So if you're on your desktop, you can send text, or if you're out and about, you can download our mobile app and respond to those texts, make calls.
So the company would just have to make that the standard operating procedure, right? For their field reps, it's like, don't text directly, call from the app.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. And then everything gets logged to the CRM, and yeah.
But it would have to be the sales message app, right? Because I've got a HubSpot app that's very good, but for text, I mean, just like my desktop, I've got WhatsApp. I got WhatsApp on my phone, so I just hop over there to do the business correspondence.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair enough. It's everybody's accustomed to apps now, right? I mean, good grief, I got all these things open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on some telecom, and one of the things got a signal. I'm like, I'm not opening those. I'm sorry. I'm apped out.
Yeah.
But I got plenty. But eventually you're like, yeah, I don't want another channel.
Right. I know the
But in
drill.
business, you got to standardize it, or like it or not, salespeople are humans. Eventually, they're going to rob you blind if you let them. So you better be monitoring and controlling what they say and how they say it. So I imagine if people go to your website, there's a form for them to give you their cell phone number to do a demo or a trial.
You got it.
There better be.
There is.
Get to their website. Okay, mail us a letter. Here's our address.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean,
No.
we've got a web form. They can request a demo. We capture their phone. We send them a text. Yeah, we use our own stuff, man. Eat our own dog food.
And then, like, does every message have the old opt-out so they know it's coming from a machine?
Yeah, not every message has to include it. Sort of that initial text has
initial
it.
For sure.
Yep.
Then you're good to go.
Then you're good to go.
Okay. And are there file size limits? Because I know you're saying now it's MMS. Like, what shouldn't be sent? A 2-hour movie. Like what? Like what's practical?
Keep the text as short as possible, right? Yeah. I mean, if it makes sense, yeah, people do it. I mean, right? Like most people are sending a text, and then you have version of them are going to send an image, and then you've got all the other media, right? So like image, and then video and audio and PDF, right? So it's a small percentage. If you do need to deliver a PDF, you can do that, right? But it's a small percentage of people. Yeah.
And that file, like the PDF, am I uploading that to Sales Message, or is that a doc in my, HubSpot has files. Each file has their own URL. It can be public. It can be no indexed. So is it just linking
to our platform?
Okay. So they would put it on your platform and you would deliver it.
Yep.
Okay. Or they could include a URL, right? Because like what I do is when somebody opts in for something, I don't send that thing. I send a link to that thing, and I don't take you to a landing page with that thing. Because I test this all the time. I'll put phony number, phony email just to see if it takes me. And a lot of times it does. And so now I get the info I want it, and they don't have my info. But I say, hey, okay, thanks. Check your email, check your text. Because now I send the email, but even then you don't know. Opens aren't totally accurate. So I'm like, click here. It's a big file. I don't want it to get gunked up. So because now a click is actionable, right? I can track that in my platform, then take the next steps. So are you doing something similar?
All the above, man. You just got to see the product, like you got to see it all. You can do all of it, and then you realize you can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you could do that, short URLs, track clicks, all the fun stuff. Yeah. But yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, I'm going to put a link. And have you run into any frustration with the shortening of the word message?
I have. What do you think the frustration is?
Well, because people spell out the full word. Like I've been rebranding as Fixer Wes because after 17, 18 years, I'm like, people can't spell the Sales Whisperer. Cute name, and they misspell it. So I'm like, Fixer Wes. And that just redirects to Wes Shaver. Like I'm just rebranding as myself now. Like you mentioned Tony Robbins. It's like the Sales Whisperer became synonymous with Infusionsoft and the CRM guy. And that was never my plan. It just the way timing worked, and I found opportunities and ran with it. But it's like, you don't go to Tony Robbins and say, hey, should I buy Salesforce.com for my business? So I'm like trying to brand Wes Shafer as, the gray-haired guru. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they misspell the sales whisperer. So do they misspell sales message?
Yeah. Yeah. People put, I mean, it's salesmessage.com, but sales MSG, that's what the logo shows.
Right.
Yeah.
And why
Yeah.
did you do that? What was the rationale?
Good question. So originally it was sales MSG, and we have the domain sales message. And so we just sort of said, hey, let's just keep it as sales MSG, even though we have sales message. So yeah, we should change it or do something with it. But yeah.
I mean, you're known now. Did you ever toy with like sales SMS or sales MMS?
No, not really.
No,
I mean,
it
the
was
funny
always
thing
message
the funny thing it's got sales, it's got SMS in
in
the
the middle of
name.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
So
maybe make that capitalized and the other smaller.
maybe. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
cool.
all these things to figure out.
Okay, well, look, so every 8 years we're going to meet, and I expect hot air balloons, skywriting, the release of pigeons and doves in 8 years.
Okay. Let's do it. I'm game.
And no gardener and a stable internet connection. Is that too much to ask?
It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm trying. Awesome. Good stuff.
All right. And so after 8 years, all right, I expect you're going to go back to short hair and clean cut, right?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully not be bald by then, but you never know.
Dude, no, you got the
rough.
widow's peak. I learned, they say if you got the widow's peak, you don't go bald.
Okay. I'm lucky then.
You ever heard that?
I have not. No, that's the first time.
Yeah. If they got the straight hairline, they're probably going to lose it.
Yeah.
It's all genetics. Blame it on your mom's dad. That's what I've heard too. It comes from the father on your mother's side.
All right.
We shall see.
Good deal. Awesome.
All right. Chris Brisson back in the house. Thanks for coming on, man. It's good catching up with you.
Thank you, Wes. All right, man.
And have a good one.
Ciao.
Hey, I hope you liked that episode. Reach out to Chris. Reach out to people that I have on the Sales Podcast and on the CRM Sushi Podcast. They are always real people. Okay. And after all these years, the contacts I have that I can reach out, and 90% of them reply to me within the hour, 9% the same day, maybe 1%. Well, if they don't respond, it's because they're busy. But, I had a guy yesterday reply immediately. He was at the airport heading to the Middle East for some charity work. So, I bring these people on to give you real insight into what's working, what doesn't, why, where is it a good fit. And like I said at the beginning, this one is unique because we didn't get under the hood, but I don't think you need to. Chris is a solid guy. The platform has been out for about 8 years, rooted in its foundation, going back 9 years, and even that was built on another foundation. So, this is a solid tool that has proven its worth over many years, over many platforms. So, talk with guys like this. Yes, there are pros and cons to everything, right? And having the features built in, like I was saying with HubSpot, with Keep, they have SMS, they have all these different things, but sometimes it makes sense to have best of breed. The other thing, it makes it easier to switch if you ever have to switch when you're going best of class, when you're using an automation engine at the core, but then using best of class around it. So, and of course, you never want to quit. I've been using my Infusionsoft since 2008, but I have used other tools. HubSpot is my main tool day to day. I use Nimble. I support customers on Go High Level, sometimes in Salesforce. Most of the tools, you can ramp up pretty quickly if you have any kind of experience, but these tools are sticky and by design, and sometimes it's not always a good sticky. So if something is frustrating you in your technology, figure out how to replace it, right? Even if it's more expensive, within reason. But having best of class, things are so stable now, right? The APIs and these tools have native integrations. They're so stable. But to have that best of class, gosh, I sleep better at night. It's just worth it to not have the headaches. Okay, so check it out. Give Chris a call. Tell him you heard about him here, and he will treat you right. Okay. Again, if you need help, check out the CRM quiz, crmquiz.com. It's free. There's a link at the end to my calendar. If I can help you you want to pick my brain, I've got a free tool now on my homepage. You can book a time and we'll record it, and that I will share that content, right? Or you can pay me for it when we're done. but I'm offering that. I want to help you grow. So give me a chance to help you grow. All right. It'll be affordable. I promise you, it'll for sure have a positive ROI, even if it's reassuringly expensive. Okay. Thanks for watching. I'll go sell something.